What you didn't know about the 7 deadly sins. To understand this, you first need to comprehend that the holy book means non-physical. Holy is non-physical, all right? And although things do have a physical interpretation, the non-physical, holy interpretation always takes precedence, okay? As we can see here, the flesh profiteth nothing. It's the spirit, okay? So you get the spirit of the word, or you don't really get the word, and you don't really get the benefit. So what is the spiritual interpretation of the sin? Well, we first need to understand that sinning is missing the mark. That's the original meaning, okay? So as an archer hits an arrow to a target and doesn't get it, that is sinning, all right? So we equate it with a lot of badness and guilt and all this stuff, but the reality of it is that the Holy Bible is a spiritual guide on how to impact the physical realm, okay, using the spirit, which is where everything comes from, okay? So if we're sinning, we're missing the mark. So we'll begin this series looking at gluttony. Gluttony, taken in its physical context, is always a person over-consuming physical food in their physical body, which is true. However, it is not the holy interpretation, which always takes precedence. To understand the holy meaning, you first need to understand that you are constantly consuming spiritually and mentally, okay? With everything that you engage in, you are consuming. This is why news is called a news feed, okay? Because you're feeding on it. You're feeding and consuming on ideas and content. This is why your social media feed is also called a feed, because you need to understand that your mind, your spirit, your soul, your non-physical holy self is continually consuming content. This means that gluttony is not necessarily in its holy text, in its holy meaning, I should say. It is not simply sitting down and eating lots of food. It's not keeping your mind on God. It's not keeping your mind on good. It's not keeping your mind on the positive, and also keeping your mind on your goal, which is how you won't miss your mark. If you keep your mind on giving thanks for the achievement of your goal, you won't miss your mark. However, if you continually consume other content, you are going to miss your mark. The thing you're praying for, the thing you're asking for, is not going to manifest while you're in gluttony. That's why gluttony is a deadly sin. And remember, it's not a physical deadly sin, although it can be interpreted such a way. It takes more precedence to think of it in its holy way. What is your mind on? What is your mind focused on throughout the day? If you are continually consuming content, whether it be television, social media, random conversation with other people that are not, walking in the counsel of the godly, then you are going to be consuming content and being gluttonous. That is gluttony. Now we see here from John 6:3 that it is the spirit that quickeneth, and the flesh profiteth nothing. So you can fast, and gluttony is not just the interpretation of gluttony, it's also for fasting. You can fast physically and not fast mentally and spiritually, and you haven't been fasting. All right. This is why it's so important to understand the holy and spiritual meaning of the book. And this is not just for the Bible, by the way. This is the Quran, which is also called holy, and any other holy book in the world. You need to get the metaphysical interpretation, or you do not comprehend what the instructions are telling you to do. All right, this is not a physical book about a physical world. This is a spiritual book about managing and having dominion over the physical world. All right, now if anyone wants more information, you probably know you can go and get one of my books on decoding the spiritual elements of religion and science. Peace. Also, I will be completing the 7 deadly sins. The first one is gluttony. This is just part 1, so stay tuned for part 2. Follow and like for more.